Alright, so this is the part where we fill it in, because this wood by itself, there's no way it's gonna take the weight of those beehives. So we dug out all the sand, now we're gonna fill it back in. I think I've realized something about the sort of out in the country mindset, which, you know, in rural areas, people tend to be very self-sufficient, a little mistrustful of larger organizations because, you know, they don't benefit from them as much, because it's for a larger organization to have a infrastructure to service a rural area, you know, a whole lot of infrastructure. Anyway, but at the same time, there's a deep appreciation for doing things yourself, doing things from the ground up, building things by hand. You know, you're not gonna purchase some condo. You're gonna live in the house that your grandfather built, and you're gonna do the roof yourself if the roof needs redoing, because, I mean, probably out of necessity, because there aren't a lot of condos out here to rent. But, you know, I think it sort of has led to a mindset that's very do-it-yourself, very pioneer. You know, it's funny because the DIY thing that's currently in right now, brew your own beer, do it yourself, all that stuff. I mean, really, farmers have been building their own tables out of reclaimed wood and brewing their own beer out of extra barley that their horses don't eat, and doing all that stuff for such a long time. So in a way, it strikes me as kind of humorous that now the urbanites are going, wow, we're so trendy and like rugged, look at how we're DIYing. And the farmers are like, oh yeah, okay, trendy boy, nice beard and man bun. So it turns out that a big part of the work here, and I should have guessed, is actually just making sure that the sand and dirt that I'm adding back in is under the skids, because, you know, you've got these wooden slats, and if you fill it with sand but it's not under the skids, then it's useless. No, I mean, it's been kind of fun because it's been like practicing dance moves. There's a lot of like moving your feet around to push the dirt in, and if you step on the slat and there's some give, that means you need to push a little more dirt into that, under that slat, to try and fill that bad boy up. I will say, really nice soil for doing this though. It's got a high, actually, I think maybe it's a high clay content, because it's nice and sticky. If it was just sand, it would be, I think, harder to, you know, really pack it in like that. So I guess the organic material ain't bad in there. So it's time to admit that I was wrong about something. See, I figured, like, man, digging the hole like pirates burying treasure, that's gonna be a workout, but filling it in, that's the easy part, you know? Yeah, so I was wrong about that. It turns out that the filling it in, because you want to make sure that you get all that dirt into under the slats, is definitely more time consuming and possibly even more aerobic than digging a hole in the first place. I've also had another realization, which is that making grandiose generalizations about society as a whole while doing physical labor may be a new favorite pastime of mine. I have a lot of fun. Anyway, so back to this thing about filling in the holes. I guess part of the DIY movement has come, part of what's come with it as we sort of have a little backlash against the consumerism that was drilled into the generation of our parents, the baby boomers. Part of it is that we're moving back towards quality, we want quality foods, and we want quality handcrafted tables from quality wood that was in a factory, which makes it also extra trendy because it now has more of a story. We want quality and stories for stuff. And once again, it just occurs to me as I do this that was never a question in rural areas, because if you're doing something yourself, if you're digging your own well and you're 5 miles out from the nearest water source and you do a bad job, you may not drink. You may die. If you're, like me, some millennial kid trying to become a beekeeper, and you don't make sure that the dirt really sticks between the slats and fills up the pallet that you're using as a foundation, then one of those days you're going to be checking on your bees, you're going to step on your quote-unquote foundation, and it's going to break, and you're going to be like, well, what do I do? Move my bees? Start again? Just put up a yellow tape around it and hope that no animals get in through the hole? What you going to do? So the importance of doing a good job when you're more self-sufficient is just so huge. I guess that's why, our grandparents would be like, oh my goodness, you broke the frying pan. What are we going to do? Well, Grandma, I'm gonna go get you a new frying pan. Oh no, but this was the frying pan. It's the quality frying pan. How could this break on us? Grandma, it's $5 at Walmart. No, the frying pan. This frying pan was my grandma, they're all about the quality and the story and the emotional attachment. And, and part of it is because when you were growing up on the farm, anything you had was either you made it or you inherited it from someone who did. This pickaxe was made by my grandfather as he tried to claim this land in Minecraft, versus when the dollar store's right there, quality is barely an issue. But at the same time, consumer society generates a lot of waste, generates a lot of income for retailers and large corporations, but also a lot of waste, and doesn't have as much of a story. So I'm really happy that society seems to be making this move backwards towards our rural grandparents' lifestyle. I mean, progress is important, but I think we are elevated enough as a society now to take the good parts of progress, but also not take the negative parts. So, I think millennials as a generation, because as we know that's something else I just love to talk about, are getting more into these ideas of higher quality, because we want progress and we want businesses to grow and a good economy so that we can have taxes and pay for our health care so we don't die, and also mainly to take care of our boomer parents. But but we also do want to do this without sacrificing quality of life, to whatever degree we can have both. Well, there she blows. We threw on a layer of sand because I hear that's used in construction a lot. And I try to put these little windbreaky walls around. Partially also because of guilt, because when I look at this gorgeous little meadow here, then I look over here, so much of it is either dug out or covered with sand that I kind of feel like maybe I'm doing worse for the land than good for it. Yet another case of here was nature minding its own business, and now humanity has come to bend it to its own purposes, and Yeah, now look at this piece of shit. So I feel a bit bad about that, but I mean, the plants will grow back. And my hope is that once the plants have grown back and the bees are in, then maybe nature will be a happier place. I guess that's why we're doing this, right? And that mead. So, next time, building bee boxes.